economy. It's two different things.
Wake up, Tim.
Most of you don't remember, but in the 60s they said that we could have guns and butter. And at that time the war was going on in Vietnam, and they expanded the welfare state, and we suffered in the 70s. We had stagflation, interest rates to 21%, inflation rates at 15%, 12% unemployment rates, and what did we do? More of the same thing. We've been fighting wars, increasing the welfare state, and running up these deficits. But there's a big difference now. All our good jobs are overseas. We're not a creditor nation. We're a debtor nation right now. And our dollars on the ropes. I truly believe that it is the end of an era. It's the end. I thought the end of the Bretton Woods came in 1971, or at least some changes had to be made. But it was just a temporary change, and it was revived. But that era of the pseudo-gold standard started after World War II is now coming to an end. They don't know about it yet. It has to be addressed, and it can only be done by reining in the government. And the very first place that we rein in the government is this monstrosity that we're running overseas. We need to get all our troops home and save that money. I've said this many times during the campaign. You know, they said, they got him now, because he said one time he wanted to get rid of Social Security. Now what's he going to say? I say, get the young people out of Social Security and let's work our way out of this thing. But it is true, many have become dependent, and I'm sympathetic with that, because promises were made, they paid into it, although the money was squandered, and the money was spent on wars and all these other things. Because we're wealthy enough, and because they're so dependent, there's no reason why we can't take those individuals, take care of them, until there is a transition. But there's no reason why we can't believe in freedom again, where you assume some responsibility for yourself, and then that way you get to keep all your money when you earn it. But the ultimate reform in this country will be a changed foreign policy where we defend this country, but we don't police the world. It means that we will have a sound currency once again, as was mandated by the Constitution, and that means no Federal Reserve System either. A lot of these suggestions on where we can cut taxes, and I always will vote to cut taxes and work to cut taxes. Ultimately, we just have to repeal the 16th Amendment and make sure we never have the income tax again. But ultimately, the greatest threat when we have an economic crisis and the government's supposed to take care of us even more so, or we go overseas and we get messed up and we have to stay forever, and we're conditioned to believe that war is perpetual and endless. Now we're being told that the war on terrorism is going to last forever, which means now anything that used to be a temporary abuse of our liberties, now they're saying they're going to be permanent. That is the most serious thing that's happening in this country today. The war attitude means they condition the people to say, under these conditions, we have to be safe and secure. Just think, if you didn't take your shoes off at the airport, you might not be safe anymore. So it is this conditioning that now has meant that the government can spy on us endlessly. They don't need search warrants anymore, and just remember, that was one of the main things the colonists hated about the British government. They could come in and search our homes and houses and do everything without a proper search warrant. And what have we done now with our habeas corpus rights? Something that's been here for hundreds of years, and now they've eliminated that. They can declare American citizens enemy combatants. You don't even have a right to go to court under these conditions. The foundations of our liberties have been removed. The purpose of all political action should be the preservation of liberty. A free country is where you allow the people to take care of what they want to do to promote their own virtue and their own excellence. Once government takes on that role, we're going to make you virtuous and good and moral, or we're going to make you economically secure and we're going to take care of you. They can't do it without a dictatorship and an undermine of the productive capacity of the country. This is where we are today. Our freedoms have been undermined. We have endless war going on overseas, liable to spread. We're already involved in Pakistan and Iran, and it's liable to spread. They talked tonight. What did they talk about? He didn't tell the truth. They didn't tell the real answer. But they were talking about the draft. They need more troops. And we don't need a draft. So we have to put our eye on the target. The eye on the target is liberty, defend the Constitution. If we want to change the Constitution, there's a vehicle for it. But the worst thing we can do is what we've been doing for decades now, is we've been ignoring the Constitution. And that's what we have to stop. There's nothing wrong with national sovereignty. I believe in national sovereignty. I believe that our border guards should be here at home rather than Iraq. I believe our troops should be here. Our Air National and Army National Guard and reserve units should be here in this country, not overseas. And under those conditions, we wouldn't be laying plans for a North American Union and more international government. You know, we worry a lot about what Washington does to us, and we have to stop that. But there's an aggressive approach to trying to make world government, because already, you know, we have the United Nations. I do truly believe we could do without us belonging to the United Nations. But we have the UN and the IMF and the World Bank and the WTO and NAFTA and CAFTA and the whole work. We don't need that. We don't need that. We need more confidence and understanding how freedom works and how the market works.